Hello, YouTube. My name is Plazukas, and today I'm going to talk about the Ava Kris Tyson debacle, but I think you're going to find it pretty interesting and different from the other rhetoric, because although I'm going to talk about Ava in the situation, I'm going to make a broader statement about content creators who continuously talk about these individuals and yet have this same kind of discourse and dialogue with their chat and with their audience. And let's be very clear. We know that they're under the age of 18. Now, I know it's different than having a direct message with somebody, but what Charlie here is going to say, Moist Critical, is a bit hypocritical, and I want to spell it out. So let's just react to this. We're going to take it slow and methodical, and to the points where I want to actually discuss to where it actually is relevant from my point of view. We'll get there.
Ava Kris Tyson of the Mr. Beast crew had a ton of evidence surface about horrible behavior with how they communicated with minors, as well as a past of really disgusting shit. A lot of people are calling the Season 7 writers of 2024 internet drama lazy because they're reusing a similar plot line. A lot of people drew comparisons to Dr. Disrespect recently being outed for talking in a...
We're hearing a lot of these things because it's happening a lot in these communities. This power dynamic between content creators and people, just like it was in Hollywood. Hollywood gets a bad name, right? Does Hollywood get a bad name or not? It does, right? Content creation doesn't get the same bad name, even though the two have the same very similar power dynamic. And therefore, those who want to use that to their advantage do so. And they have. And we've seen examples of this now time and time again, and it keeps on happening. It's happened in Cody Ko, Dr. Disrespect, and all the others that came before it.
Appropriately to a minor. There are tons of screenshots to showcase exactly what was being said to someone who was between 13 and 14 years old at the time, and it's fucking gross.
And let's be very clear. There are people who watch Moist Criticals. There are people that watch Tech Tones. There are people who watch Hassan's that are that age. Now, they can say plausible deniability while technically my YouTube and Twitch algorithms suggest that I'm not, my audience is this and that. Yeah, they can say that. They can say that. But they know deep down inside, legally, they can say that and they're fine and they have defenses and they're like, I'm not. And their humor, you know, unless they actually have a thing that says no, intended for certain audiences, unless they have that thing intended for certain audiences, which gives them an extra layer of liability.
It's completely unacceptable. Some of them were just public tweets right under everyone's nose. So Ava...
Yeah, this is insane. This is the fact that it was, you know, already just here for Twitter. Like, you know, I know this happens in Snapchat too. Like, there's always a fucking place to go, right? Back in my day, there used to be... I want to say, what was it? Microsoft Chat or whatever it was? Yahoo Chat, right? Used to be Yahoo Chat. And then it was Craigslist. There's always a fucking place for this. There's always a place. And I know that's a free, you know, it's the free country. That's why, you know, we don't police this shit. New shit happens all the time. And then people gravitate towards it. And young people are manipulated and taken advantage of.
Ava Tyson was an adult at this point. Lava was a child.
Okay, that's it.
And saying things like, I posted some fire nudes for you, please no share. And then other shit like, but not $5, pathetic JK kissy face. They seem to communicate a lot, even sending Snapchats. So here's one that says, coming for America, and then goes on to talk about being in a group chat and everything. And I've seen a lot of people try and cope and deflect, saying like, oh, it's just edgy jokes, people are blowing this out of proportion.
I think this is fair criticism, Charlie, Moist Critical, because content creators do this all the fucking time, including Tectone, with his very, very vulgar jokes. And it's deflected. So if you're saying that that is not an acceptable excuse, then we need to start having a different conversation. And I already said this. You're making my point for me. You're already making my point for me. I already know that the conversation needs to happen. And apparently, you know, in the United States, the Senate and Congress are going to be, I guess, taking in consideration some more child safety laws online, regulations.
What a bunch of fucking nonsense. That's a load of hooey. That's dirty barnacles. That's ridiculous. Under no circumstances should an adult be communicating with a child in any inappropriate manner whatsoever. Edgy jokes between an adult and a child are still fucking gross.
Yeah, and they are. And that happens on Twitch and on YouTube every single day.
That's not like the slam dunk defense that some people seem to think it is.
Okay, very good. Let's establish that as a precedent then.
Under no circumstances should an adult be in a group chat with a bunch of children sending...
Content creation is a group chat with a bunch of people, including children. It is. It is.
Coming for America pictures. Like, that's still bad. That's still horrible. That's still really fucking weird. From what I can tell, most of the screenshots and a lot of the compiled evidence comes from this YouTuber, Prism42. This seems to be where most of it started, and since this video dropped, there's been a lot more screenshots that have come out with all kinds of really bad things that were being said to or about minors. I've only shown a couple here, but there's quite a bit more, and they're all just as bad, if not worse. Like, for some reason, Ava Tyson had a habit of calling a 13 or 14-year-old daddy.
This is happening a lot. This happens in chat. This happens at TikTok's chat. Daddy is used constantly nowadays in both, you know, the hierarchy and also the opposite. This whole thing about, you know, power dynamics, about fucking, you know, daddy issues and all this shit. It's happening. It's constantly happening. It's sickening.
Like, you can't just write that off as being like quirky, inappropriate, edgy jokes that people are blowing out of proportion. That's unacceptable. It's indefensible. Now, the 13, 14-year-old in question for a lot of these messages is someone that has come forward to give their own accounts of the situation, and according to them, they don't believe that they were groomed or anything bad was done on the part of Ava Tyson or anything like that. And I'll just go ahead and give my take on it here. I talked about it on stream, and I'm not trying to be some kind of armchair psychologist because I'm just, at the end of the day, a little reptile brain idiot. But I really do feel like in a situation like this, it's very difficult to process just how inappropriate or unacceptable something was when you lived it. I imagine that it's very difficult to view this as the person that you communicated to so closely for so long was actually evil or doing things.
And how do you think the relationship is with content creation in chat? So they may not look at it as manipulative. They may not look at it as coercion. And yet it probably is. It's not much different.
That were wrong. But in reality, no child should have this kind of relationship with an adult.
And they do every single day online. This age of content creation and social media is out of control. It is out of control. It needs to be regulated. It needs to be monitored. I don't know if it's possible. It's probably going to cost too much money and too many people to do it, but it needs to. And companies need to be doing it and policing it as well. And they're not. They're not. Twitch does not actively do it. Obviously, after 2020, the Me Too movement, they did. They found a lot of people, but they don't want to do it because it basically opens up liability and culpability and also costs these companies money. And what companies do not want to do is spend money. They want to make all the money.